Good morning, everyone. I am live coming to you from between Lisbon and Mechanicsville on the UP Clinton sub. I am driving along, heading toward Clinton, Iowa, and going to be putting in a webcam this morning at the Clinton County Historical Society. And so I figured that I would live stream as I'm driving along the UP Clinton sub and see if we found any trains between Clinton and Mechanicsville this morning. So, as I'm cruising along here, I'll just kind of keep everybody up to date on what's going on as we continue on this trek across eastern Iowa. So, good morning to everyone. It is a beautiful Thursday morning, and I am just coming into Mechanicsville right now. It looks like that the intermediates at Mechanicsville are dark, so nothing to see there apparently. But I figured that this would be a decent opportunity to share a little bit of my trip with everybody. I don't know if you can see this or not, but there's a UP SD70 over here on the house track at Mechanicsville. A 9027. Pretty ratty looking. Not really sure what the story is with that, but it's been set out there at least since Tuesday when I made this trip going back the other direction. I saw it then as well. We are 57 miles to Clinton, so should be getting down there in about an hour, give or take. And thanks everyone for tuning in this morning, giving you a live look into what the traffic is, or is not in this case, on the UP Clinton sub this morning. And it looks like that this set of intermediates is also dark. One of the things when you're out here rail fanning that you can know is that the intermediates at least on the UP Clinton sub are approach lit. So when you go by a set of intermediates and you see that they are lit up, then you know something is nearby. So I don't have any idea if anyone has any heads up on if there's trains between here and Clinton. That would be great. I haven't looked at the Grand Mound camera at all this morning, so I can't say for certain exactly what's out here. I am just kind of hoping against hope that we find something in the next 50 plus miles. So you can't see it now, but we're about a half mile from the tracks, and I'm looking off to the left and there's nothing over there. And then it kind of dips down behind a hill and then comes back up to the road when we get closer to Stanwood. So anyway, as we continue along here, I wanted to give everybody just a little bit of a sneak peek and share my ride with any viewers that wanted to tune in. If anybody's got any comments or questions they want to ask, go ahead and throw them in the chat, and I'll be happy to talk to people as best I can while we're driving along here. We're going to come over the top of this hill and then be getting close to Stanwood on the other side and be able to see a little bit better if there's any trains nearby. Driving along US 30 heading east right now between Mechanicsville and Stanwood, and cannot see the Clinton sub at the moment, but once we get over the top of this next hill we'll be able to see her again and be able to tell if there's something over there. I do know that there has been track work in Grand Mountain recently, replacing a crossing actually right next to the webcam in Grand Mountain. And nothing here. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but there's a really neat stone arch bridge between Mechanicsville and Stanwood, almost all the way to Stanwood, and that's what we're going by right now, but not seeing any trains as of yet. But anyway, yes, good morning to the loyal viewers that are online with me here. Basically just hoping that we find something, no real plan. I didn't go into this with any intel about anything interesting that was coming along. I just wanted to take advantage of the fact that I was driving right alongside with the Clinton sub for the next, 50 plus miles on my way to Clinton this morning. And it looks like nothing actually in Stanwood that I'm seeing, at least. Not hearing anything either. Yeah, nothing too exciting here. But we will proceed on east and see what else we can catch. I would say that, I make this trip a lot between Cedar Rapids and DeWitt specifically, because my in-laws live in Eldridge. So I end up driving this stretch from Cedar Rapids to DeWitt and then turning south to go toward the Quad Cities. Well, I have had a lot of success seeing trains through here on many trips to my in-laws. But it's pretty rare when I have the opportunity to actually share this trip with somebody, because usually I have a bunch of kids in the back of the van, I have my wife here with me, and they just don't have the patience for this kind of activity. So we are all clear of Stanwood, heading toward Clarence now. And as I look ahead, still not seeing anything. I don't know if you can really tell or not, but there are some silage bags over there on the ground. The UP main is right next to those silage bags. It looks like that there may even be a high rail vehicle of some sort. Or maybe that's a pickup. Maybe that's a pickup that's parked in a field. I can't tell for sure. I thought for a little bit that there might be a high rail vehicle on the tracks over there, but it does not appear that that's the case. So we are just going to keep going. Yeah, that's definitely a pickup. It's a pickup, but it's not a high rail. So we're just going to keep moseying along and seeing what we can find for traffic on the UP Clinton sub this morning. And as we are heading east here, we're getting close to Clarence, Iowa. Clarence is the place where it's about halfway to my in-laws. It's a place where we end up stopping in Clarence quite frequently. And I have a cousin that actually runs a gas station in Clarence on the east side of town. So for anybody that's ever rail fanning out this way, you stop at the gas station on the east side of Clarence and go over there and patronize my cousin's business. I know that Jenny and Leroy will definitely appreciate that. So as we move along here, we are getting just to the outskirts of Clarence. And once we get through Clarence, then the tracks will actually just be right on top of us, right next to the highway for quite a ways. And still looking for that first train this morning. Not having any success so far. But this is the way that rail fanning goes sometimes. You go out here and drive 50, 60 miles of double main and there's going to be long stretches where you just don't see anything. Well, we got to knock it down here so that the Clarence police don't get annoyed with me. So as we are continuing, we're actually driving through the town of Clarence now. And I'm pretty sure this is a 25, so we're gonna knock her down just a little bit more. I am on my way to Clinton, Iowa to put in a webcam this morning at the Clinton County Historical Society. They have a museum that is directly adjacent to the CPKC Davenport sub, and that will be a view that everyone will be able to enjoy on the Steel Highway YouTube channel a little bit later today. So we're getting to the east side of Clarence now, and the I would say fairly commonly photographed elevator that's here on the left. This elevator used to be Land O'Lakes, now it's owned by Purina, as you can see by the big checkerboard painted on the side of the tower. But that's a pretty common spot for photographers to try to get trains. I know that when the big boy came through here, I got some photos of it going by the Purina elevator. And so now we are clear of Clarence and moving on toward Loudon. There is a siding at Loudon, and recently there has been maintenance away cars parked on the siding at Loudon, so we'll see if that is the case today as well. I don't know if you can make it out or not, but the signals that we just went by are intermediate signals. Milepost 45.6. That means we're 45.6 miles from Clinton, Iowa. Oh, Land O'Lakes is the corporate name for Purina. Well, thank you. Yes, good morning from Savannah. I am very excited for the potential of a Savannah webcam. I am really looking forward to that. So I certainly hope that plans out, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that it happens. So thank you to everyone that's tuned in. Looks like we've got 9 people watching live here this morning, which is pretty good considering that you're just listening to me talk and not actually getting to see any trains so far. But as we continue east here, we are approaching Loudon. We'll be able to see the Loudon crossovers. I believe the name of the control point is actually West Loudon. And we'll be able to see that pretty easily when we get close to town. We are going to be coming up to another set of intermediates here pretty soon. And so normally, most of your intermediate signals just have a single signal head up on top. And that's pretty common. These intermediates actually have 2 signal heads, which allows them to show a diverging approach, or approach diverging, if a train is crossing over at the next set of crossovers or the next switch. And so a lot of times when you see 2 signal heads, that's why they're set up that way, is so that it can show that the train is approaching a diverging route, and then they can slow down in advance of the turnout, because the turnouts are almost always slower than the actual track speed on tangent track or straight track. I think the last milepost that we just went by was 43 point something. So counting down the miles towards the Mississippi River drawbridge is where it starts at 0. And then it starts up and counts down on the Geneva sub from that point, going all the way east into Chicago. Alright, we're coming around this curve now. We're coming up to the Loudon crossovers, the West Loudon control point. And yeah, unfortunately, the UP has been going through and turning off ATCS. We had a pretty good network going of ATCS coverage from, well, at one point I had covered from Grand Mound all the way to Nevada, but now most of it's been turned off. The only areas where we have coverage now are from Tama to Bertram, I believe. I haven't actually looked at the map for quite a while, but I believe it's Tama to Bertram is what we have remaining for coverage. And so you'll see here we have signal masts, but there are no number boards on them. And that would indicate that it is an absolute signal rather than an intermediate. So we went by the Loudon crossovers, and again, the signals at Loudon crossovers are approach lit as well. And nothing doing there. P&K Midwest, local John Deere dealer here at Loudon. And they are, it's kind of cool sometimes. There's a shot that I've gotten myself at least once with the John Deere tractors that come down off the Iowa Northern, and they get added to the NPPR, I believe, which is North Platte to Proviso Manifest. So you get these John Deere tractors that are loaded on flatbed cars that come out of Waterloo off the Iowa Northern, right next to the John Deere dealer where they have the tractors and combines all set out. And it's kind of it makes for a nice side-by-side shot. So definitely something that I have endeavored to do as a rail fan out here on the Clinton sub previous times. We're just getting into Loudon now. And we will be able to see pretty quickly here. There is actually a Loudon depot, but it's completely run by the UP. They use it for their maintenance way. I think they have a section based out of Loudon still. I know that frequently see maintenance way trucks out here at Loudon all the time. And now, so to the left now, there are actually 3 tracks, and part of it, or the track closest to us, is the Loudon siding. And you do have to kind of look in between the trees a little bit, but the Loudon siding may just be clear today. Wouldn't that be a kicker? The one place where I thought for sure that we would see some kind of rail cars or something parked, and the Loudon siding appears like it might be totally clear. I guess we did see that one SD70 that was set out to the house track at Mechanicsville. Oh no, there is one maintenance away hopper and one maintenance away flat car all the way down here at the east end of the Loudon siding. But that's it right now. So I guess we got to see something anyway. 38.0. We are exactly 38 miles from Clinton, Iowa now. We are clear of Loudon, the crossovers, the siding, everything. We're crossing into Clinton County, as it turns out. And we are now working our way toward Wheatland, Iowa. And there's a huge overhead bridge. Highway 30 goes over top of the Clinton sub at Wheatland. And the bridge is another one of those really nice rail fan locations where you can get some really neat shots as the Clinton sub curves and goes underneath the bridge. So as we're going along here, I will turn the camera, because we'll go over the bridge. We'll take Highway 30 over the Clinton sub, and then I'll turn the camera over to the right, because the Clinton sub will no longer be on our left side. It'll go over to being on our right side instead. So as we are approaching Wheatland, still not really seeing anything this morning. Oh, I saw there were comments there, and I did not see them quickly enough to respond. Sorry about that, guys. I saw that there was a comment, but because I'm obviously trying not to crash my van while I'm driving, I did not have a chance to actually see. So milepost 36 we just went by. Along the Clinton sub, one of the things that the UP does, and this is a piece of C&W heritage, is that they have their mileposts on former telegraph poles, and then they have quarter mile posts out here also. So you go by a milepost as you're going east, and then you'll go by a pole that'll have 3 steel bands on it, and those steel bands signify the 3/4 mark of the mile. And then the next pole will have 2 steel bands on it. That'll be the half mile. And then you'll go by a pole with 1 steel band, which will be the 1/4 mile. And then the next pole will actually be the next milepost or mile pole. And that's something you'll hear those terms. We're just coming into Wheatland now. You'll hear those terms used somewhat interchangeably, mile pole or mile post, or just mile number. And there was a time when the railroads, oh, we have an ambulance coming up to the intersection here. All right, we're gonna slow down, get out of the way, see where this ambulance is going. He's getting on 30 and going east ahead of me, so. All right, well, we are not in his way. They're going to be able to get to wherever they need to go without too much difficulty. Coming up here, you're going to be able to see where the overpass is, that 30 goes over top of the Clinton sub. And then I will reorient the phone here as we go over the top of this bridge. I guess you're going to get a lot of dashboard that way, but as we get up here closer, there actually is a spot where you can look quite a ways, and there's that curve I was talking about. And again, the intermediate signals are in fact dark. So the next set of crossovers is Calmus. It's West Calmus, I believe is what it's referred to as. Now, we're getting into the Wapsipinicon River Valley, and it is going to be somewhat more difficult because the tracks are separated from us by these trees. However, because those signals were dark, got a pretty good idea that there's no trains coming anyway. So we really don't have too much to worry about. Yeah, if it's looking back over there is actually still, I believe, a steel overhead bridge where the UP crosses the Wapsipinicon River. Well, you know, we've driven about 20 miles now, 25 miles maybe. Yeah, I guess it's been closer to 25 miles. We've driven from Mechanicsville to almost Calmus and not seen any trains moving so far, which I'll have to admit is in fact somewhat disappointing. I was really hoping that the UP would cooperate a little better with us this morning, but that apparently is not going to be the case. So as we continue east on US 30, oh, did I put 535 instead of 525? Sorry about that. Appreciate that must have been just a fat finger when I was putting it in. All right. So the Calmus crossovers, the West Calmus crossovers are off to the right. We just went by the turnoff that goes down toward the crossovers. And now we are actually approaching the city of Calamus. Yes, PSR killed frequent train consists. That is absolutely correct. So, I did manage, it looks like I got caught up on the comments. We got some, somebody's out doing some field work this morning. Looks like he's got his cultivator or sprayer going. And as we continue east, we are approaching the fine town of Calamus, Iowa, or Calamus, depending on how you choose to pronounce it. And as we get into the town of Calamus, there is a spot over here to the east between Calamus and Grand Mound where I see trains parked sometimes. I think that they park them there if they're not going to, if they're making a meet at the Grand Mound crossovers, or even if they are being held out because they don't have a place or a crew for them in Clinton. So as we continue east, I think too now, as I think through this, I'm pretty sure that the UP is single tracking through Grand Mound while they're doing this crossing replacement. So that's probably part of the problem that we're running into. Although I haven't seen any trains exactly staged or waiting their turn to get into Grand Mound, which to me means that this isn't just us getting affected by the crossing outage in Grand Mound. There's literally just nothing going on here. So, as we continue east, we are all by Calamus now, getting close to Grand Mound, and really hoping that we see some kind of traffic coming up. So if you look over to the right, there's a group of about a dozen grain silos over there, grain bins. And that is the spot where I've seen trains parked, just short of that crossing. This is a kind of a back road down into the Quad Cities here. Oh, and here comes an emergency vehicle coming this way. We're going to get out of the way for him. I don't know where he's going, but I think it's likely he's going to the same place that wherever that ambulance was going that we saw earlier. So say a prayer for whoever needs the emergency services this morning. Hopefully they aren't in too bad a shape that there isn't too much damage or injuries to whatever's going on. Excuse me. And now we are getting close. You can see the intermediates that are outside of Grand Mound, and the track, you have to kind of look for it, but the track is across this field looking over to the right. Yes, hello. Good morning, everyone. We're trying to find some trains on the UP Clinton sub, and so far we're over 30 miles into this. And, for being a double main that they that they tout as being one of the busiest rail corridors in the entire country, been sorely disappointed with the train traffic that we've seen here this morning. Just as a recap for anyone that's joined us, we saw one UPSD 70 that was set out at Mechanicsville at the house track, and we saw a couple of maintenance away cars parked on the Loudon siding. And that's it. That is literally all we have seen on this trip. And I started the live stream between Lisbon and Mechanicsville, where the track comes right up along Highway 30. So, continuing east now on US 30, we're getting close to Grand Mound, home of the Grand Mound Depot webcam. You'll be at, thanks for helping us pass the time. Yes, not a problem. You know, I do what I can. And you'll be at 5th Street if you'd like to stop by. Well, if you're at 5th Street, you should stop into the museum and say hi. I'm going to be actually trying to get this webcam up and going. If you're at 5th Street, you're only going to be about 3 blocks away from me. So yeah, anybody that's in the Clinton area, absolutely, you are welcome to stop in and check out the museum, Clinton County Historical Society Museum. I should be in Clinton in the next, I don't know, 30 minutes, give or take. But we are just getting into Grand Mound right now. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's been a crossing gang, or a maintenance away gang, that's been out replacing the crossing right next to the webcam in Grand Mound. And I'm not going to be able to, we're not actually going to drive into town because the crossing is all blocked off. Oh, here is our first actual catch of the day. We have an eastbound coal train pulling through Grand Mound. I don't know if you can see it in the webcam yet or not, but we have an eastbound coal train, loaded coal train. He is on Main 2, and he has an SD70 DPU, UP8877, and he is not moving very fast. I don't have anyone behind me right now. I'm going to try to pace him here and see. But it looks to me like he's doing about 30 miles an hour or so. Yeah, he's doing about 30, give or take. And EDGX is the reporting marks, which I believe is Edison. So this is probably an Edison loaded coal train going east. So our patience is rewarded. We have a train, and we are going to pace them. Oh, there's the rumble strip in the middle of the highway. Gotta stay away from that. Our patience has been rewarded, and we do in fact have a loaded coal train, although now we can't see it because of all the tall trees. But it'll be coming back into view here in a little bit. Really want to see what the head-end power is on this. So as we get up here a little bit further, oh, I don't know if we're going to get to see the head-end power or not. He might be ducked underneath. So we have to get off of 30 for a short distance, and you can kind of see how the tracks are diving down away from us. I don't know if we're going to beat him to the US 61 overpass, which means that we won't be able to see the head end power there. And by the time we get to the other side of DeWitt, we may be already ahead of him. Not moving very fast, probably around 30 mph is what I would have guessed. But that loaded coal train is in fact ducking down between the trees. As we get over here a little bit further, excuse me, we're going to be able to get another view of him going over the 61 overpass. So we're just getting into the town of DeWitt now. This is DeWitt, Iowa. We're about 22 or so miles now from Clinton. And I just looked down. I could see off of a crossroad that his head end is still down there. Or the train is going over the crossing already down there. So we're going to keep going this direction. And we're going to actually take 30 east and 61 south toward Clinton. If we were continuing on 61 south, we'd go down to the Quad Cities and check out what's going on down there. But that is not going to be the case right now, because we have bigger and better designs on what's going to happen today. So now, as we go around here, I'm going to actually pull this out and hold this out the window just for a little bit as we go around this curve. You're going to be able to look down and see out the passenger window the train as it is ducking underneath of Highway 61. And it does look like we got ahead of it just a little bit. So I saw the tracks, I did not see any train. So I don't think that he's going to catch back up with us, but we did see a loaded coal train. We saw his DPU, we did not see the head end power. It'll be interesting to see if that is a loaded coal train that ends up taking the CP to get into Wisconsin. Later today. So we are going around the connection here, getting off of US 61 and back onto 30 East. And as we go around here, there's a dude standing here doing some surveying, it looks like. I don't know if I would exactly want to do that, but to each their own, I suppose. I don't know that I'd want to be walking alongside of a busy highway like that. So as we continue east, we have crossed over the UP Clinton sub again, which means that we're going to reorient the phone to look over to the left. So for a short distance, the UP is going to be on our left side. And actually we have a 4-lane highway all the way into Clinton now. I forgot about that. So on the left side, we are going to have the UP for a short distance, and then between DeWitt and Lowmore, we're actually going to have there's a spot called Brophy where 30 crosses over the Clinton sub again, and then it'll be on our right side, and then after that it kind of ducks out of view as the train, the railroad kind of goes through Low Moor out of sight, and then swings down through Comanche before it comes up into Clinton. So we're not going to have a whole lot more opportunities to see trains here, but we'll stick with it for as long as we can. Thank you to everyone for tuning in this morning. I do enjoy... Oh, there's a UP High Rail truck. I do enjoy sharing my trips with people and trying to provide a little bit of entertainment whenever I can. So thank you everyone for tuning in this morning. 18 miles to Clinton now. And I don't know how well you can see it, but there is actually, it looks like a material truck or a boom truck parked by a gravel road crossing off to the left. And we are continuing east. Continuing east on now the 4-lane section of US 30. And still not really seeing much. That one coal train, I don't know, it might end up being our only catch of the day. But as we continue, we're getting close to this overpass. We're east of DeWitt now. From this point, it's DeWitt, Low Moor, Comanche, and then Clinton. So we're getting very, very close to our destination. And yeah, still just nothing over there on the Clinton sub, at least nothing that I can see from this vantage point. So we're gonna slow down just a little bit and follow this box truck, because I don't want him to be on my right side as I'm going over the top of this bridge. We want to be able to see if there's any train traffic visible from the bridge at Brophy. What do we have? Oh, we got something. Camper maybe, or something is parked over on the side of the highway here, so we'll get over. I don't know. No, it's not a camper. That might actually be a grain truck. All right, we're gonna reorient ourselves again. Yeah, it's definitely a grain truck and an SUV parked over there on the side of the road, so I'm not sure what's going on. But as we go across, you can kind of see the DNR pond down there, and then we come up a little bit further and we see the Clinton sub, and there is a clear on the Clinton sub, which is for our train that was just heading east, that loaded coal train we just saw, and then that's on Main 1, so he's crossing over. He's crossed over from 2 to 1. And then the signal for Main 2 was dark, which no big surprise there, I guess. And this is where I'm afraid that we're going to have to call it a day. We are getting pretty close. I'm about, I don't know, about a dozen or so miles from Clinton now, so I'm going to be in town pretty quickly. But thank you everyone for tuning in this morning. definitely appreciate everyone taking the time. I'm sorry we didn't see more trains. I wish the UP had cooperated with us a little better, but sometimes that's just the way things go. So, yeah, it's going to be time. To sign off. The tracks are disappearing on the other side of the hill now, so nothing really to see anymore. Excuse me. And look for the Clinton webcam to be active here probably in the next 3-4 hours. This Clinton webcam should be active and you'll be able to see a brand new location on Steel Highway Railcams. So thank you everyone for tuning in.